Have you ever wondered why some people appear to be utterly confident despite their glaring incompetence? A question that might have crossed your mind when observing others or even when introspecting. Isn't it fascinating how some of us seem to have a distorted mirror of our abilities? A mirror that magnifies our expertise while minimizing our flaws. This misalignment between self-perception and reality isn't an anomaly. Surprisingly, this concept isn't as alien as you might think. It's actually a psychological phenomenon known as the Dunning Kruger Effect. So what exactly is this Dunning Kruger Effect? Well, imagine you're just learning to play the piano. After a few lessons, you can play a couple of songs and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. But the more you learn, the more you realize just how much you don't know. That's the Dunning Kruger Effect in a nutshell. It's a psychological phenomenon where people who know very little about a subject overestimate their abilities, while those who know a lot underestimate theirs. Think of it like driving a car. If you've never driven before, you might think, how hard can it be? But once you actually learn the rules, the signs, and the nuances of driving, you realize it's not as simple as you initially thought. In simpler terms, the Dunning-Kruger effect is a cognitive bias, where our confidence is high when our knowledge is low, and vice versa. In essence, the Dunning-Kruger effect is about how our incompetence masks our ability to recognize our own incompetence. Now that you have a basic understanding of the Dunning-Kruger effect, let's delve deeper into its key points. One of the primary aspects of this psychological phenomenon is the pervasive influence it exerts. It's not just about an overconfident novice. This effect can impact everyone from students to professionals, making them overestimate their skills and abilities. Moreover, the Dunning-Kruger effect doesn't just affect individuals. It can ripple through entire societies. Imagine a society where a large number of people overestimate their knowledge about critical issues like climate change or public health. This could lead to widespread misinformation and poor decision-making. Another key point to note is that the Dunning-Kruger effect is not a sign of stupidity. It's a cognitive bias that we all can fall prey to, regardless of our intelligence or education levels. It's about our inability to recognize our limitations, largely because we lack the very expertise needed to accurately evaluate our competence. Interestingly, as people gain more experience and knowledge in a particular field, they tend to underestimate their abilities, a phenomenon known as imposter syndrome. This is another facet of the Dunning-Kruger effect, demonstrating how our self-perception fluctuates with our level of expertise. Finally, it's important to remember that awareness of this effect is the first step towards mitigating its impact. By understanding its workings, we can actively seek feedback, cultivate a growth mindset, and strive for continuous learning. As you can see, the Dunning-Kruger effect has far-reaching implications, affecting not just individuals but also groups and societies. But where did this concept originate from, you might ask? Well, the Dunning-Kruger effect was first identified by psychologists David Dunning and Justin Kruger at Cornell University. In 1999, they published a study titled "Unskilled and Unaware of It: How Difficulties in Recognizing One's Own Incompetence Lead to Inflated Self-Assessments." They were inspired by a rather unusual case of an American bank robber, MacArthur Wheeler, who believed that smearing lemon juice on his face would make him invisible to surveillance cameras. Despite his confident belief, he was unsurprisingly caught on camera and arrested. This case led Dunning and Kruger to investigate why some people have such a distorted view of their own skills and abilities. After a series of experiments, they found that people with limited skills or knowledge in a particular area often dramatically overestimate their own abilities, while those with more expertise tend to underestimate their competence. So, the Dunning-Kruger effect is not just a fascinating concept, but also a testament to the complexities of human psychology. By now, you should have a good grasp of the Dunning-Kruger effect. We've journeyed together through its intriguing concept, stripping it down to its simplest form, highlighting where this bias occurs in our lives and how it affects us on individual and systemic levels. We've delved into why it happens, its importance, and the best ways to avoid it. And of course, we've peeked into its fascinating origins. The Dunning Kruger Effect is a silent player in the background of our lives, subtly influencing our perceptions of our abilities and those of others. Being aware of this cognitive bias can help us navigate situations with a clearer understanding, fostering more empathy, humility, and ultimately self-improvement. So as we wrap up, let's remember that understanding the Dunning-Kruger effect isn't just about knowing its definition. It's about applying this knowledge to our daily interactions and decisions. Remember, awareness of the Dunning-Kruger effect is the first step towards overcoming it. So keep questioning, keep learning, and most importantly, stay humble.